The creepy neighbor followed Odette back to her room just as he was about to play a game with her. Her father appeared at the door. He saw the neighbor's nervousness and Odette's fear. Furious, he shoved the man to the ground. But in the next second, reality snapped back. It was all in Odette's imagination. She had wished her father would notice and protect her, but no one ever did. Years later, Odette ran into the neighbor again. Now, he was a grandfather. Disgust and fear flooded her all over again, watching him play with his two adorable granddaughters. She couldn't stand the thought of him living a happy life. So, she finally found the courage to tell her parents what he had done to her all those years ago. The truth shattered their peaceful family. Her father wanted to send that bastard straight to hell. But her mother, she questioned Odette. If you had told us earlier, none of this would have happened. Her father couldn't take it. How could she say something like that? Even now, how could the man he once trusted, a so-called friend, be such a monster? He was losing his mind, but her mother stayed disturbingly calm. She didn't believe the neighbor was capable of such things. After all, he was handsome, rich, successful. Her father snapped back. Do you think creeps were a sign on their face? Her mother's words crushed Odette. When Odette tried to leave, her mother stopped her. She insisted it must be a misunderstanding. The neighbor had always been so close to Odette growing up. That was the last straw. They argued, their voices rising. Her mother wanted to keep things quiet, cared too much about what others would think. Her father took Odette to the police. In the car, he held his little girl tightly, apologizing over and over. He told her how much he loved her, begged her not to feel ashamed, because she had done nothing wrong. The guilt didn't belong to them. Before the trial, her mother still blamed Odette. Why make such a mess? Why make her and her father feel guilty? What about the neighbor's family? How would they live after this? Her mother thought of everyone, except the one person she should have loved the most. As she turned to leave, Odette called after her, desperate. But then, her mother said something even worse, as if Odette learning to dance, leaving home, traveling with her boyfriend, was all just to show off. Odette broke down again, but this time, her boyfriend was there to pull her back up. When the trial began, more victims came forward, even the neighbor's own sister. But despite their testimonies, despite the fury in the courtroom, the neighbor remained defiant. He claimed he had never forced anyone, that Odette, just like the others, had never said no to him. They had all been willing. Odette took a deep breath, and, step by step, she walked forward. She faced everyone and told her story. In the end, Odette and her mother went to see a therapist together. She wanted to fix their relationship, but even now, her mother dismissed her. It's been so long, why make such a fuss? All Odette wanted was a warm embrace, just once, but her mother couldn't do it. So the therapist walked over and gave Odette the hug she had been waiting for. Odette pushed open the pink door. On the other side, her 8-year-old self was waiting. She took her small hands in hers and whispered, "I'm sorry.